In this video, we're going to use the commutative and associative properties of multiplication, the commutative and associative properties of addition, and the distributive property to rewrite 5 different expressions. In this first example, we're asked to use the commutative property of multiplication to rewrite the expression 5z. The commutative property of multiplication tells us that we can multiply two numbers or algebraic expressions in the reverse order and their equivalent. So if we take 5z, we can turn that into z times 5. And we'll note that we're simply rewriting this expression here. The next one asks us to use the associative property of multiplication to rewrite the expression 2 times the quantity 3b, which is placed in parentheses. So, again, the associative property of multiplication is one that allows us to regroup expressions. So we're going to take this expression 2 times 3b, and I've got 3b in parentheses there, and that will regroup into 2 times 3 times b. So instead of multiplying or having 3b grouped, I now have 2 and 3 grouped. One thing we'll want to note, which we'll explore as we look at simplifying expressions further, is that this is then equivalent to 6b because 2 times 3 is 6. Here we're simply applying that property. So I simply rewrote it as the quantity 2 times 3 in parentheses times b. But we do want to note that it's then equivalent to 6b. That will actually be the motivation that we have for applying these properties, is to simplify expressions like that where 2 and 3 can be combined to a single number when multiplied. Next, we're asked to look at use the commutative property of addition to rewrite the expression 4 plus 6x. So again, commuting is moving things, and so we're going to take 4 plus 6x and then rewrite that as 6x plus 4. So these are equivalent. In general, as we study algebraic expressions, we'll note that we write expressions where the variables with the highest exponent are first, and then the next lowest next, and so forth, and then the constants last. So we'll generally write something as 4 plus 6x as 6x plus 4. Next, we're asked to use the associative property of addition to rewrite the expression, which has the quantity p plus 7 in parentheses, plus 1. So looking at this, again, the associative property, we're regrouping. So we're going to take that quantity p plus 7, that's in parentheses, we're adding 1. Now we're going to regroup that so that it's p plus the quantity of 7 plus 1 in parentheses. And again, here we've simply applied that associative property, so we're done at that point based on what those directions say. But we do want to note that this is then equal to p plus 8. And as we simplify expressions, taking this quantity p plus 7 plus 1 and simplifying it down to p plus 8 will be the reason we use these properties. Lastly, we're asked to use the distributive property to rewrite the expression 8 times the quantity of y plus 2. So taking 8, and that quantity y plus 2 is in parentheses, we will distribute that 8 across the quantity y plus 2. And you'll sometimes see an arrow going from the 8 to the y and then to the 2, just as a reminder that multiplication is distributing across addition here. So this will turn into 8 times y plus 8 times 2. And then here we can make one more note. So we've applied that distributive property as is. We can note that this is then equal to 8y plus 16.